Welcome to Under the Microscope, the flagship podcast of TheScienceTalk. Here we explore the fascinating world of materials and nanoscience. Join me as we delve into groundbreaking research, innovative discoveries, and inspiring stories of scientists making waves in this field. My name is Krist Gernaey, and I'm the producer and host of Under the Microscope. Today, we are trying something new. We are experimenting with a GenAI tool, which is becoming more and more popular in the world of podcasting and content creation when it comes to scientific communication. Before we get into today's episode, a disclaimer. This episode has entirely been generated by the GenAI tool called NotebookLM, based on an original episode of Under the Microscope podcast, the link to which is in the description. Please note that today's episode is for experimental, exploration, and entertainment purposes only. For educational and fact-checking purposes, please refer to the original episode, which is a conversation between two humans, that is me as the host, and our guest, the scientist, an expert in their particular field. All right, let's jump in and see what NotebookLM can do.
Hey everyone! So before we dive in, a quick heads up. This explainer was generated by NotebookLM, and it's based on an absolutely fascinating episode of the Under the Microscope podcast from TheScienceTalk. It's a fantastic show all about materials and nanoscience. And today, we're lucky enough to borrow some of their expertise.
All right, so today we're going to take a tour of the world's tiniest factories. I mean that literally. We're diving into industrial fermentation, a world where totally invisible, microscopic life does some of the biggest and most important jobs on the planet. So, have you ever really thought about it? How in the world do we make enough of those special enzymes to go into every single bottle of laundry detergent sold globally? You pick up a bottle, it promises to fight stains, but what is that stain-fighting stuff, and how do they make so much of it? Well, the answer is this incredible process that's both ancient and, you'll see, unbelievably high-tech.
And that process is industrial fermentation. At its heart, it's all about us harnessing the power of tiny living things to make useful stuff for us on a massive scale. We give them the perfect environment, the perfect food, and they just get to work, creating everything from biofuels to life-saving medicines.
To really wrap your head around this, you have to appreciate the incredible scale. Look, many of us get fermentation at home, right? That sourdough starter bubbling away on your counter is a perfect example. But that's what, about a liter? Industrial fermentation is on a completely different planet. We're talking about these huge stainless steel bioreactors that hold up to 200,000 liters. That's the difference between a carton of milk and a giant tanker truck. The scale is just staggering.
Okay, so let's take a peek inside these massive facilities. The absolute heart of the whole operation is the bioreactor. This is the factory floor where all the magic happens.
You can pretty much think of a bioreactor as the world's most sophisticated five-star hotel, but built just for microbes. The temperature, the pH levels, the oxygen, the nutrients, everything is monitored and controlled with insane precision. The goal is super simple. Keep the tiny workers happy, because happy workers are productive workers.
So we've seen the factory, but who exactly is on the payroll? Who's doing all this work? Let's meet the biological engines that are driving this entire process. The workforce is made up of three main groups: bacteria, yeast, and fungi. But, and this is a really key point, these are not just random microbes you'd find out in nature. Oh no! These are highly specialized, sometimes even genetically engineered strains. Each one is carefully chosen or designed for one specific job, to make one valuable product as efficiently as possible. As Professor Krist Gernaey from the Technical University of Denmark puts it, the organism is the absolute key. You could have the best, most expensive bioreactor in the world, but without the right microbe, it's just a big, empty, useless tank. That living thing is what actually does the transformation, turning simple raw materials into really complex and valuable products.
Now, this is where the real, and I mean real, challenge comes in. You see, it's one thing to get a microbe to make something cool in a little flask in a lab. It's a whole other thing to get it to work at an industrial scale.
This journey from the lab to the factory is a super careful, step-by-step process. It all starts with scientists screening countless microbes at a tiny scale. The most promising ones get to graduate to the next level, bench-scale bioreactors, maybe a few liters in size. And only the absolute champions from that round get the green light for the huge production tanks. Every step up isn't just a small jump, it's a massive leap in complexity.
And this brings us to the holy grail for researchers in this field: predictability. The dream is to be able to run a simple, cheap test in a lab flask and have a computer model tell you exactly how that microbe is going to behave in that 200,000-liter tank. If you can crack that code, you save an enormous amount of time, money, and headaches. It's a total game changer.
So, after all this amazing science and engineering, what do we actually get out of it? Let's look at the finished products that are kind of quietly powering our modern world without us even realizing it.
The impact of this technology is all around us. It's used to create biofuels like ethanol that power our cars. It makes the very enzymes in our laundry detergent we talked about. But it also produces specialty food ingredients and even incredibly complex therapeutic proteins for some of the most cutting-edge medicines. The list of things made in these tiny factories is huge, and it's growing every single day.
And make no mistake, this is big science with serious investment. Professor Gernaey's research team, for example, recently got a grant for 60 million Danish kroner. That's over $8 million US. An investment that big tells you just how vital this field is for solving some of the planet's biggest challenges.
Which really just leaves us with a final, big question. We've seen how these microscopic factories are essential for our lives right now. But as we get better at understanding them, better at engineering them, what are they going to build for our future? New sustainable materials? Carbon-neutral fuels? Maybe even personalized medicines grown on demand just for you. The possibilities are truly as vast as our imagination.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. To find out more about us, visit our website, TheScienceTalk.com, and make sure to follow Under the Microscope podcast wherever you're listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel of The Science Talk. And before we wrap up for today, do let me know in the comments how you are using GenAI tools to push the boundaries of scientific communication in digital spaces. Thank you again for listening and watching, and I will see you in the next one.